Hey guys, I wanted to pop on and talk for a few minutes about the Melt Method hands and feet balls and show you how to use them. So the Melt Method hands and feet balls come in a little pouch like this, and then they come with a set of two of all of their balls. And the balls are used to help release tension patterns in your hands and feet, as well as rehydrate all of the connective tissue in your hands and feet. And of course, our bodies are connected. And so it's not just hydrating and releasing tension in your hands and feet, it's also helping to move fluid up into your legs, into your thighs, release tension in your hips. Same thing with your arms. So with your arms and hands, it's helping to release all of the connective tissue all the way up into your shoulders and your neck. And so it just makes it much more comfortable to be in your body. Because of course we use our hands and our feet all day, every day. And especially with repetitive either workouts or things like typing, playing the piano, we can develop strain patterns and, kind of manageable, normal. But then over time, those strain patterns can start to get more chronic and impact the way we walk, the way we use our shoulders, the way we use our arms and our hands. And so it can have a trickle-down effect. So I really like using the Melt Method balls. I use them very often, and it helps me to stay a lot more active. I use them more on my feet than I do on my hands because I hold a lot of tension in my hips and in my psoas, which wraps all the way around your hips from the front and the back. So these really do help to release a lot of tension that, it might start in the hips and then feed down into the arches, or it might start in the arches and then feed up into the hips. And so this really helps to release a lot of that and keep that connective tissue hydrated so that, it can just be more comfortable living your life. So anyway, I'm going to demonstrate how to use these balls. But I wanted to first show you what the points are that we're going to be activating with the balls. So just like reflexology, the Melt Method uses a point system on your hands and your feet. And so today we're going to do our feet. And you can see these points. These are on my website as well, but they're numbered, right? So 1 is basically in your arch, and then 2, 3, 4, you guys can count. And then we've got points on either side of the arch, on the outside of the foot, and basically at the beginning of the heel. And so we're going to activate those points using the balls. And so, let's get started. They do, by the way, they do come with some instructions if you order the kit. If you order, there's a cheaper one. I think this one's like $50. If you order the cheaper one, it does not come with instructions. There are also online videos that you can access at meltmethod.com as well. But I think having somebody walk you through it the first time or two is helpful because it can be a little bit confusing and some of the points are really close together. All right, so we're gonna get started. And I use these several times a week. And we're going to start actually with just standing on our feet, kind of grounding. And I'm going to close my eyes because it helps me to kind of check into my body. And I'm just going to notice, am I putting more weight on one foot than the other? What are my legs and my hips feeling like right now? Do I feel balanced? Do I feel unbalanced, wobbly? just notice. And then what I'm gonna do with my eyes still closed is I'm going to lift my toes up off the ground. I'm gonna see for a few breaths, am I balanced? Am I unbalanced? So basically what I'm checking for here is to see what is my neurological system doing? Is it balanced? Is it off kilter a little bit? And so the melt method not only helps to release tension patterns, it also is helping, our core stabilizers to really be in alignment. Okay, so we've done our assessments, and typically you'll do those at the end as well. Because I know my body so well and I've been doing this for such a long time, I don't use the assessments as much. But especially when you're getting started, I think it's helpful to remember, oh yeah, this is actually helping. Because in the beginning you might be like, oh, maybe it's helping, maybe it's not helping. And so then this kind of helps you to check in and see, oh yeah, I am feeling something here. All right, so for the beginners, when you're first getting started with this, you're going to only use the softballs. So we've got 2 softballs and 2 firm balls. And for the first, I would say, for me, it was 2 weeks. For some people, it might be 3 or 4 weeks. You're only going to use the softballs. And the reason is that our hands and our feet are very sensitive. So we don't want to go too hard on our hands and our feet too quickly. Because if we do this, we're actually going to hurt ourselves and not allow that connective tissue to relax and reset into your nervous system. Because that's really a big part of this, is helping things to relax. So if we go too hard with the hard balls, we are going to have the opposite effect of what we're looking for. But I do this all the time, so I'm gonna use the soft ball to start, and then the firm balls. But just know that if you get these balls for the first at least 2 weeks, I think they recommend 3 to 4 weeks, use the soft balls only. All right, so we're gonna start with the large ball here, and we're going to work our way through the points that I showed you on the diagram. Now, one of the most important parts about the melt balls is actually our breathing. And our breath is really like our energy force, it's our life force. And we want to be bringing good prana energy into the body. So I'm going to start on the first point, and I'm going to inhale, and then on the exhale, I'm going to put my foot down gently onto that first point. I'm going to inhale again, and exhale, I'm going to lean back onto that point. Inhale, exhale. And so you want to do this like 3 to 5 times. Sometimes I do it more, just depending on how tender things are feeling. And so we're going to do each of the other points now, but that first point we do a few times because obviously our arches can hold a lot of tension in them. So then we're going to go to the next point, which is the second point. So the kind of the knuckle for the big toe. And we're just going to exhale and then inhale when we come up. And then we'll do the next toe. Exhale. Inhale. And we're doing kind of like a little rocking action. So, right now I'm putting my weight in my other foot. And then on the exhale, we place our weight onto the foot with the ball under it. Inhale, and then exhale under that next point. And then last but not least, our pinky toe. We drop it down. So now we're gonna do the points on either side of our arch. So we're gonna start with the back of our arch, and I'm gonna inhale and exhale on this. And then we're going to go to the front side of the arch. So right behind the ball of your foot. And we're gonna put weight on there. And then we're going to go to the outside of the foot. And so it's kind of like, sometimes there's a little bone right there that sticks out. And that's really like that fourth point. And we're going to inhale and then exhale. And breathing really is the most important part of this. And then we're going to go to the fifth point. So there's 5 points total. And exhale. And, you know, depending on what you're doing, you might find like some points to be kind of spicier than others. You know, so just notice it and you can kind of see and modify, you know, so if anything isn't feeling right, then you just back off a little bit. All right, so next we're going to use the small ball and we're going to do all of those points again with the small ball. So if you're starting out, then you would use the soft small ball next. And it's the same pattern. So we start under our arch, back up so you guys can see. And again, I'm going to do the middle of the arch a few times. And then I'm going to start under the toes, the knuckles for the toes. This is where the diagram is really helpful, so that you can actually see exactly kind of where I'm putting this ball. And this is why it's also helpful to work with somebody like the first time, so you can just kind of understand where each of these points is. So now we're going to do the back of the arch again. And, you know, when you get started with this, if there's ever like, I'm not sure if I'm exactly on the right point or not, a lot of times just look for what's a little bit tender. So again, we don't want to overdo it. But if you feel like there's a little bit of tenderness, that might be exactly the spot. We'll go to the outside of the foot again. And if it's feeling more tender, but not painful, of course, then you can, you know, activate those points a few times if you need to, versus, you know, just once. Okay, so then now we're done with the little ball. So now we are going to do what's called an indirect foot shear. So this is the large hard ball. If the pain is if it's too much to use this ball when you're first getting started, you can of course use the soft ball. Beginners can use this hard ball. The main thing is just to remember not to put too much weight on it. So if it feels owie, then just back off a little bit and put less pressure on that spot. All right, let me back up a little bit so you can see. And with this one, this indirect foot shear, we're just gonna put it under the first point on our arch. We're actually just gonna curl. So put as much weight as feels comfortable, feels good, but not too painful. And we're just gonna curl our toes and wiggle them a little bit. And so especially when you're first starting out, you might be like, oh my gosh, this feels uncomfortable. Okay, so next we are going to do the foot shear, the foot glide. I also call this the twist and shout, but those are my words, not the melt method. And so basically you're just gonna plant your toes like so, and then you're gonna put this ball under like the fifth point, which is about there. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna wiggle our foot side to side, and we're gonna move the ball while we're rotating to the back of the heel, and then back to the front of the spot. So we don't really want the ball to move a lot, and the ball should mostly stay where it is. So I always think of it like a twist and shout action a little bit. It's mostly coming from your ball of your foot. All right, so, and it's gonna feel a little weird. I feel like, am I doing this right? Not sure, you know? And you are. Okay, and so that's literally all there is to it. And then next, we're actually going to do a foot shear. And I call this like you're grating cheese. So again, you're about your 5th point, and we're just going to go side to side. Feels like doesn't look like you're doing a lot. But I feel like it's grating cheese. Okay, so next up, we're going to do a foot rinse. And so first we're gonna move, we're gonna start under our big toes, and we're gonna move towards our pinkies. And then there's a second foot rinse thing that we'll do as well. So we start under our big toe, and we're just going to rotate it to the outside of our foot. And we're gonna do this like 3 to 5 times. And when I'm doing that, I'm inhaling, and then I'm exhaling as I'm gliding it. Okay, so then the next part of the rinse is we're going to, let me show my diagram again. So we're gonna start under each of the toes, so each of these points for 2, and we're gonna roll the ball towards our heel for each spot. And I normally do this a few times, but we do the whole foot first, and then we can do it again. So we start under the big toe, and we're just gonna rotate it towards the heel. Back up again. So now we'll do the second toe. We just move it forward like so, and then come back. When you come back, you only want the weight of you only want the ball going back. So you don't want to do maybe what you would do in like a soccer ball. You just want it to glide towards the back of your heel. So, and then you release, and then you do the next toe. And so you can just move it back. The next toe, move it back, like so. So you just want all the motion to be going towards the heel. We're gonna do that one more time. Okay, so then that's it. And now the last part is called foot friction, and it's the part that you're definitely gonna wanna do. It's gonna be like, when do I get to do that part? You get to do it right now. So you get to just roll the ball under your feet. And that's it. And so now we've done a whole side. And so a lot of times, especially in the beginning, you may want to do another body scan and see okay, how do I feel? Do I feel better? Does that side feel more relaxed, more energized? So anyway, more rejuvenated. And so then you'll do the other side, and then you'll do a final scan, body scan, and see, okay, am I feeling more relaxed? Another thing you could try before and after is standing up, bending over, and then, so you could start that. You could do that when you first start, and then you could do it at the end and see if you just have a little bit more elongation as your hamstrings loosen up, because you probably will find that it will. So anyway, that's how you use the Melt Method footballs. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'll follow this up with one on how to do the hands sometime soon. Talk soon.